Hello, gophers, and welcome back to part 20 of Introduction to Go. In this video, we'll be learning the concepts of channels in Go. Now, the channels are basically used to synchronize data between two Go routines. Before we move forward and start understanding the concept of channels, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our tutorial. Also, press the bell icon so that you don't miss on any new videos or tutorials that we put forward. Now, the topics that we'll be covering today in this tutorial is how to create a channel, how to create a buffered channel, and the cases when we need a buffered channel, how to create read-only or send-only channels, reading multiple values from a channel using loops. So now let's start by understanding what are channels. Channels are nothing but special data structures provided by Go which can help you synchronize between two different Go routines. Let's say I have a Go routine which is actually emitting data which says, let's say, uh, it's checking if a number is divisible by some other number or not, and it will just emit it out that, yeah, it is divisible right now. And there is a receiving Go routine which receives the data that is being emitted from the other program and then processes the data according to that. So there can be situations where you keep transmitting data from one function according to your condition or your any of your programming logic, and there is a receiving logic which receives the data that you have processed and then further processes on the processed data. Let's say in case you are receiving some inputs from a third party application and that is continuously sending data to your web API or your API, let's say, and now you are actually having a validation on it. Once your validation is over, you want to emit that data out to other third party destinations and those things. So you can use a channel in that structure. So now let's see how we can create a channel and how we can send and receive data from a channel. So wherever we'll be discussing about channels, we'll always use a Go routine because channels are meant to synchronize our data between the Go routines. So over here I have created a wait group so that I can synchronize between two different Go routines. Then I have created two different methods. One is send data, which will send some data to some data structure that is designed by Go, that is a channel. And there is a receive data, which will actually receive the data that is being sent. Now let's see how we declared a channel in Go. So to declare a channel, we can use a function that is make function, which we have already learned in slices and those concepts. So over here, the keyword that we use is chan, and this is the data structure type, which is the data that will be sent or received from this channel that is declared with the name channel now. Now I have declared a channel which will send and receive a string. Now I created two Go routines over here, so I added two in the wait group and I am waiting for the Go routines to get ended. Now, what my send data method is doing. So send data is actually accessing the channel and sending data or a string into the channel. So sending this data into the channel. So this arrow is actually pointing towards the data flow. So the data is flowing from the right side to the left side into the channel. And as soon as this is completed, I'll end the wait group so that it knows that one Go routine is complete. And then on the receiving side, I'll say that the data would flow from the channel to my data variable. So I've created and declared a data variable and data is flowing from channel. So this arrow is from channel to data, and I have printed out what data is being received. Now let's see how this program prints things for us. Now you can see I have a start over here, and that's just to indicate that program has started. I've received the data, that is received data is high from the send data. So I've sent this high from send data, and over here I've said received from received data, that is whatever is sent now. So this is how you can create channels, send data from channel and into the channel. So now let's see how we can actually send multiple data into the channel and synchronize those things. Now, what I have done is I have added one more message from the send data so that we can see if this second message is also received from the same channel into the received data. Now, to do that, I have added a time sleep for 2 seconds just to make sure that we observe the data transmission from the first and second messages. Uh, and now, in the received data, I have again the first two lines are same, and I have added again another line which says that it will receive the data from the channel. Over here, I didn't have to write any sleep method because this method will actually sleep for 2 seconds, and then this message will keep waiting for any messages that are sent from some other go routine to channel, and so that it can access. Now let's see how this program runs. So I have received the first message, and after 2 seconds then I received the second message. So this is how you can send multiple messages, but this isn't a perfect way because in case if you missed out the second receive method, let's say if I didn't had the receive for the second message and I only by mistake only added only one receive, then what will happen? So in this case, it has sent the first message, waited for some time, tried to send the second message, and while sending the second message, it has given me an error which says that fatal error, all coroutines are asleep. That means because this function has already received the first message and it has said that wait group has ended. And when it tried to send some message, there was no place where we are actually receiving data from the channel. So it will not allow us to send data into the channel if there is no listener on the channel at that moment. So to handle this, we have a buffered channel concept where we can say to Go that you should have a buffer memory space for 5 messages or 10 messages. So let's say I create a buffer of size 5. So this indicates to Go that this channel should have a buffer space for 5 messages. So if even if we send 5 messages extra than we are receiving, then also Go will handle that and will not have an error with respect to that case. So let's clear the screen, try to run the program again. So I've received the first message. Now I didn't have the receiver for the second message, but now this time I didn't get the error over here. Now this isn't the best way to handle this by adding a buffer because in this way you have also lost the second message. So we generally don't want to lose out on messages that are being sent from a sender. So in these scenarios, what we can do is we can use the looping construct that was also used in the slices or arrays that we were using. So let me paste out the code for you and then see how we can do it. So now over here, I'll first remove this buffer from here, and now I have created two functions where the first function is actually emitting a message where it says whether a number that was provided into the function is divisible by particular numbers between 1 to 20. So it will keep emitting the data that is being sent from here whenever it encounters that if the number is divisible by any number between 1 to 20. And on the receiving side, we'll be receiving all the data that are being provided into the channel from the send channel. Now, let's first skip this part and let's see how this would react. Now, in this scenario, we don't know how many times actually we'll be sending data into the channel. So we cannot promisely code how many times the receiving should have access the data from the channel. So in this scenarios, you normally use a looping construct. So over here, I have used a range keyword with for in the for loop, where I have ranged on the variable channel. Now, if you remember from the earlier concepts where we use range keyword, the range has two output from it, where the first variable is the key and the second variable is value. So that means if this was a slice, then in this case this data would be a key, and then we would have received the value. So the key would be 0, 1, 2, 3, the index, and the value is the actual value contained on that particular index. But unlike the case with channels, we receive the first variable as the actual data inside the channel. So so now let's start and run this program, where let's see how many messages do we receive from the senders. So over here I have passed 5 to the sender. So sender will actually divide 5 by 1 to 20. Now let's see, it has given me a print which says number is 5 is divisible by 1, number 5 is divisible by 5. Now in this scenario, the program has given me an error stating that all goroutines are asleep. That means now this function receive is actually still waiting for some messages to come into, and but but it did not receive any message because it's still open to receive message, because a channel does not have any limitation on number of values that it has. So it will keep receiving values until unless it encounters a close from a channel. So that is why we have to close a channel. Now, once you close the channel, you cannot send data to a channel again. Let's say if I try to send something over here, then this is also an issue. Let's clear the screen first and let's try and run this program. Now over here it says send panic when it says send on a closed channel. That means it is trying to send some data on a closed channel. Now if I remove this line, and now let's clear the screen and run this. Now if I see, I have received two data into the channel which has been printed by the received data, and successfully no errors has been encountered, and we have successfully closed the channel. Now closed channel is also a good practice, because in this way you are freeing up the resources that are being used by your program. So this is how you can actually send data to a channel where you don't know how many send will be there, and how many times you have to write the receiving logic. Now this is also a same as like I'm having a for with infinite condition, like infinite times it will run. Now over here I have said that give me data from here and then give me an OK variable. Now this OK is same variable that we also have seen in the maps. So in case you are not aware about the concepts of maps or slices, then I have linked the video on the I section on top right corner, for where you can have a look at slice and maps there, and you can know about those concepts. So over here I am saying that uh, if I receive data from channel, and over here I say if it is okay. Now this okay means if the channel is actually sending some data, has some data, and has given that data to the variable data. So in that case I'll have this print line. In the else, I'll break from the looping construct. So this for range is actually a similar case, or is similar to this uh, for loop right now. So in this case, if I also comment this out, and let's see if that for behaves the same. So it's the same because this is a short, let's say you can have a syntactic sugar over the concepts of for like this, where you have added a break statement or used a OK variable in this. So I would prefer you to use this code so that it makes your code more readable and easy to understand by whenever you want it. So now let's also try to understand how we can create a read-only or a write-only channels. That means if you want this function just to read from the channel, and this function should not actually write into the channel. Now what that means is, now in this current scenario, if I write something into the channel, let's say hi from receiver. Now over here I'm not trying to close this channel right now, and over here I am trying to, let's say, receive data in, send data is. Now over here I'm saying channel, and after this I will be closing this, so that once all things are done, then we'll do it. So now let's try and run this program. I received one error which says I've received a deadlock. Now let's see why that deadlock has come. It says it has trying to read this data, and now this is trying to send a data before done. Now let's see what happens. I'm really sorry, the issue over here is because this channel, this range keyword is actually trying to still access data from the channel, and it does not have any value. So let's simplify this function and just send some data from the first channel, and let's see if we can do this right. I'll just remove this. Over here, this is a sending function which is actually sending a value, and this is an receiving function. Let's say we'll have this, which is channel receive data in, send data function is this, and I'm trying to send a data hi from receive data. Now let's try to clear this and see. So now you can see that I have also sent some data from the receive data function. So this makes that this function is actually receiving and sending the data both into the channel and out from the channel. So if you want to restrict this, a property where a particular function is just either receiving or either just sending the data to a channel or from a channel, then how we can introduce a read only or write only channel. Now let's try and understand that program. Now let's understand how we can create a send only channel. Now send only channel means a channel which can only send data in, only send data into it, into a channel. So how we can create a variable of that sort. So I have created a function which is send data, and this is just to this function is meant just to send data into the channel. So I have created a input variable where this is a ch is the variable name, and it is of type channel, and would be sending data of type string. This means the data of type string will flow into the channel. So this direction means the data into the ch variable. So we can just send data into the channel. We cannot access data out from the channel in this function. Whenever we are accessing the ch variable, ch channel, we cannot have a read operation from the channel. Now, in the receive data, I have just said that I have created a variable which is like data from channel of type string into the variable. So this means that we are actually trying to read data from the channel of type string. So now over here, if I try to like send data into the channel, so this should give me an error where it will say that this is an send receive only channel. So it says invalid operation send to receive only type of channel. So this is how we can restrict the access of channels in the goroutine functions. Now in this I had to create a channel in the main function and pass the channel reference to both the functions so that it's it's the same reference of channel that both of these functions are actually trying to access. Now on this send data I have sent a number for which the divisibility will be checked, and then I have also closed the channel. So this channel close means the reference channel which was the parent channel is also closed. So that means in receive data the channel will also be closed. So that means this range will come to an end. Now let's try and run this program. So it gives me an output where it says number 550 is divisible by 1, 2, 5 and 10. So because my loop is actually running from 1 to the count that is equal to count that is 10. So this is how you can create a read only or write only channels. So that is all on a channel. Now this was end of my introduction to Go tutorial uh, series, and let's see what we are coming up next. Thank you for watching the video. Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also press the bell icon so that you don't miss on any new notifications. Also do comment us below on any feedbacks or any new tutorials that you want us to do.